Well, hello friends! I'm super excited to show you a very creative new filter in Photo RAW 2026, and that's the new double exposure filter. We've all seen a lot of double exposures. They're very popular these days, but they take a little finesse to create using multiple photos and layers and masks and blah, blah, blah. So we wanted to make a filter to make it easy for you. So here it is. In the Effects tab, inside of Edit, I click on Add Filter, and I just pick the double exposure filter. Using double exposure is a lot like working with the texturizer filter. First thing you're going to do is pick a category that you'd like to work with. We include lots of typical types of content that are used for doing double exposures. Things like lights and mountains and natural textures and skies and even a sports category, all sorts of different things to help give you some inspiration. For this one, I'm going to go to the forest category. And then I'm just going to look through the different forest scenes that we have. You can kind of see the two exposures layered on top of each other, just to give you a bit of an idea of what things could potentially look like. I'm just going to go through and pick a texture that I like. I actually kind of like this cool one here, forest number 4. Then what I can do is I can pick if I want the texture applied to the whole photo or just to my subject. In this case, or to other masking options include depth. I want to apply it just to my subject. But I could also apply it to just the background, or I could apply it based on depth or the inverted depth. I'm going to use the subject mask option, so it's only going to apply to where the subject is in the photo. And then the opacity slider controls how strongly that overlaid photo is applied. And the mode lets me control the blending mode that's used to apply it. So oftentimes using something like lighter on a dark photo like this will give me the better results. And then I can tune just how opaque I want those results to be. In the tone and color section, I can actually change the brightness, the saturation, and shift the hue of that secondary photo that I'm applying. So I could make it lighter or darker to fit my scene better. Maybe I want it a little bit darker. And if I wanted to go all the way to straight black and white, I can pull that saturation down, or I can leave it up and I could shift the hue. Maybe I want to warm it up instead. I want to pick a warmer tone for my photo. Under position, I can actually move and scale that texture or that secondary exposure around. So I can click on the move tool and I can position the texture within the photo where I want. And I can also use the scale option to scale it to make it larger. So I could pick a portion of the photo that I really like and blends well with my subject. There we go. And then in the background adjustment section, this is going to affect everything in the back area. So in this photo, it's already white to start, but if I'm starting with a photo that isn't white in the background, white being a very common solution for these kinds of photos, I can then control the exposure in that outer area. So if I wanted to brighten the background up even more, and this is using a depth mask to do it. So I can actually hold down the Option key and view that depth mask and control exactly where that background brightening or darkening gets applied to my photo. There we go. Let me turn that on and off so you guys can see before and after. There's before and after. Now I know a lot of you guys are landscape photographers and you're looking at me like, you're crazy, this is a filter I'm never going to use. So let me show you how you can actually use this filter on landscape photos. Alright, so here is a typical landscapey macro kind of photo. It's okay, but it kind of lacks some appeal. Let's see if we can spice it up a little bit using the double exposure filter. So I'll go to Add Filter, Double Exposure, and this time I'm going to go down to the Nature's Textures category. There's some really cool textures in here that work well on a lot of different photos. So I can just kind of flip through here until I find one that works well with my photo. Actually, this wheat field looks pretty perfect. I can apply this wheat field looking one. I can change my blending mode to lighten or darken or maybe even normal. Now let's go with lighten. And then I can control the opacity at which it is applied to the photo. And I can even use a mask, like a depth mask, to control how it gets applied. Let's use an inverted depth mask, so it's going to use the texture more on the foreground, less on the background for it. And I can also brighten up that background while I'm here too. And then I can just tune it to my taste for this photo and create a very different photo than what the original looked like. There's before and there's after, just using the double exposure filter. And of course you can have some more conceptual fun with landscape photos as well. Let's take a photo like this one. I feel like there's something interesting here. I just don't know really what it is. It's got this very cool round little, I don't know, island, I guess you call it, in the middle of this photo. I feel like there's something cool I can do with it. I'm going to do a couple things first. I've got this dark shadow on this side. I kind of want to match that same dark shadow over here. So let's add a local adjustment. And I'm just going to paint in over here on this side so that I kind of burn down the right side so that it looks more similar to the left side. There we go. And then I've got some kind of annoying little contrails in the sky that I don't like. So I'm just going to grab the trusty old perfect eraser here. And I'm just going to get rid of these guys. Here's a tip if you didn't know this. You can create straight lines with the perfect eraser by just tapping once and then shift clicking. And it will actually then paint a straight line across that whole area. So I can get rid of those annoying little power lines, or not power lines, but jet contrails nice and easily this way. Now, let's go to our double exposure filter. And this is where you just have to kind of let go of your preconceived notions, put some Mingus on, have a glass of wine, and just have some fun with it. I'm going to go over to those natural textures again. There's so many fun ones in here. And let's just start off. We're not going to use a mask for this one, but let's try some different blend modes, maybe like subtle or normal. Yeah, let's try normal. And then let's flip through some of the other options within this category until we kind of find something that speaks to us, something that is kind of fun and interesting with this photo. That's kind of fun. Let's go with kind of this waving wheat texture, and I can tune the appearance of it using that hue shift slider. Let's go kind of a pinkish color. Let's bring the saturation of it down. You know what I think what I really want? I kind of want this whole photo to be black and white. So let's add a black and white filter on top of it. There we go. Now I'm going to roll my black and white up. We'll go back to our double exposure and we can continue to adjust this based on our taste. Maybe let's try a inverted depth mask. This will apply it more to the things further away, less to the things in the foreground. There we go. I'm going to hold down my slider so I can adjust that depth. I really want to kind of pull it off the foreground and have that wheat texture more in the background. There we go. Let's take a look at a before and an after. There's before, and there's after. Again, it's not for everybody, but it is a fun way to experiment with your photos. It kind of gets you out of your creative box, or maybe even potentially a creative rut, creating new things that are visually interesting in a way that you haven't thought of before. So I encourage you to give the double exposure filter a try. There you go. Thanks for watching.